He said that Jesus Christ has risen, and he is the open door.
How you doing, everyone? Welcome to this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show. Trump is indicted again. Hunter Biden gets off with basically not even slap on the wrist. And people say we don't live in a tutorial justice system. How you doing, everyone? Again, welcome to the show. If you can please hit the subscribe button and the follow button, depending on the platform you're on. There's I know Spotify and others, they do follow. And Apple Podcasts and YouTube and all, they do subscriptions. So go ahead and do me a favor, hit that button. If you're on YouTube, please go ahead and hit the bell. That helps me out more than you realize. A lot of people don't think hitting that subscribe button. And look, I'm not the only YouTuber / podcaster that has this problem. There's a lot of people. I believe it was Ruslan the other day, a Christian commentator, that went ahead and talked about that on an ad. He said, listen, 67% of my audience is not subscribed. And it helps us out more than you know. That does help us with accounts and everything like that. It helps us to advance our content. It reaches it out. So please, if you haven't yet and you're a faithful listener, go ahead and hit the subscribe button or the follow button, depending on the platform you're listening on. It helps out more than you know. Better late than never. Better late than never. I am 2 days. Well, at the time of this recording, I'm a day behind of the release of the show, and that is just, there's a lot going on. Personally, not bad. It was work. I had a lot of work going on, and ministry. That's another good thing. So it is good. It's not a problem. It's just good things that are happening. My time and my schedule didn't fit in to where I could record. So now, even as I'm recording this in a few minutes, well, in a couple of hours, maybe like 2 hours at the time of recording this episode, I have to go and minister to a private school. I got to go to their chapel and preach. But that is not a bad thing. And there's some people. Look, I'm big on consistency. If you're a long time listener of the show, you know that when I drop an episode, normally, or when I say I'm going to drop an episode, that episode's dropped. But I don't know why I feel led to say this morning before we get into our topics. If you're a believer and you put anything before Christ, you need to have your life examined. That is just my personal opinion on that. Because look, I love this podcast. I love Brothers Just Searching. I love BGS Media, the little company that we have made here, and I try to advance it as much as possible. Try to advertise. Try to do everything as a small business owner could do. And I call this a business now because we do excess of advertisements and sponsorships and all. And ladies and gentlemen, it's this is something that's very important to me, to get the information out. I feel this is my calling. The Lord told me to expose the lies and tell the truth. But at the same time, politics take a back seat to the gospel of Jesus Christ. As a believer of Jesus Christ, my main focus and my main goal is to share the love of Jesus Christ. I was hearing a preacher the other day talk about purpose, and he was like, you got to find your purpose. And look, I agree with that. You should find your purpose in life. What is your purpose? But the overall purpose of a believer is to share Jesus Christ. That is the main focus. That is the main purpose. That's why when we get a calling, God puts on our calling to be a youth pastor, to be a teacher, to be a prayer warrior. If that's your calling, God has that purpose for you for a reason. And that purpose is to glorify him. And as a believer of Jesus Christ, I feel that ministry and also work, you got to realize, I'm praying that one day, that this podcast would take off and that this will be my full-time job. Just creating content. And, that's why I asked if you can hit the subscribe button, the follow button, go look at the website. If you know someone if you're in the local area and they want to do some advertising, hey, reach out to us. Cajun Conservative 5 at gmail.com or Brothers Just Searching Podcast at gmail.com. But that's my goal. I would hope that one day this is my full-time job and I could just go ahead and make content. But for the time being, work has to come first, because BJ's bills don't get paid unless I work. So, but anyway, so, we're moving forward. God is blessing us, and I feel this is a purpose, but at the same time, there's a lot more important things than politics. Now, you, the listener, I appreciate you waiting. I appreciate you, staying with me and choosing to spend some time with me. I appreciate that. It still amazes me that there's people out there like yourself that will listen to a Cajun from the South Louisiana give his input. Some people might like me with my accent. I don't know. But God has been blessing, and yeah, so a lot of personal things have been going on. The good things though, like work and ministry. That's why I'm behind. But to be honest with you, I was bothered because I wanted to come make a show and I just hadn't have time. Now I have the time. We have a lot of politics to talk about. We have a lot of things that I just mentioned in the show beginning. We have a lot going on. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, this is the fourth time in 5 months. Think about this. 4 times in 5 months that President Donald Trump has been indicted on a crime. Now, this is relations to the grand jury returning with 10 indictment in Georgia's election case. Now, Donald Trump wasn't the only one indicted this time around. There was 18 other individuals. This included Rudy Giuliani, John Eastman, Mark Meadows, Jana Ellis, Sandy Powell, and a few other people that were indicted in this investigation. They are charged with racketeering. It's the RACA law. It is there's a national RACA law, but in Georgia the RACA law is very broad. This is why the DA, who is a Democrat, who ran on the premise of going after Donald Trump. She did like Alvin Briggs. Alvin Briggs did the exact same thing. When Alvin Briggs in New York that brought his indictment against Donald Trump, he went ahead and he basically trumped up misdemeanors into felonies. And he ran on the premise that he was going after Donald Trump and that crime family. That's what every Democrat DA that has run against Donald Trump said. We're going after Donald Trump because Donald Trump is evil. He's bad. He's manipulative. He's all this stuff. He's just evil, ladies and gentlemen. That's what the left thinks about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is just evil, and he don't know what he's talking about. And he tried to overturn the election of 2020. So they're going on this racketeer law, and it is very broad in Georgia. And what I heard yesterday, there only need to be 2 guilty verdicts in one of these 19 indictments, one of these the charges that are brought against Trump. And ladies and gentlemen, that's all they want. Now, what was the big taker of this is that we knew that Trump was indicted before the grand jury ever voted. What are you talking about, Isaac? Well, there was a issue with the Georgia court. This is from Political. Georgia court posts, then removes document detailing charges against Donald Trump. So, ladies and gentlemen, the courts already had the paperwork. Now, we don't know if the grand jury voted before, but the way that we was hearing, they were trying to do everything on Tuesday, and all of a sudden on Monday, this indictment came down late Monday night. But they heard him and called some witnesses. The grand jury had to hurry up and get back to the courtroom. And then all of a sudden they voted, and then it was a trial. I think because of this mix-up. But ladies and gentlemen, it was in the works. So a lot of people tell me, well, Isaac, hold on. What you trying to say, that this was planned? I'm not going to say that because I don't want to be labeled as a conspiracy theorist, but it's kind of funny that they post it, then they go ahead and release it. I mean, then they pull it off, and then all of a sudden they hurried up and rushed these people in here to get this grand jury to indict Donald Trump. Isn't that kind of coincidence that they had to rush everything? I think because the Georgia court and the Georgia DA, this lady, this was thinking, well, people might start thinking that might be planned, and we can't let them think that. So now we're going to have to hurry up and get this indictment going against Donald Trump. Now, this has been 3 years in the works. They've been looking into this since 2020. Trump has made statements saying he has evidence of election fraud, and he was supposed to do a press conference, and he decided not to at the counsel of his attorneys. But Brian Kemp has also come out and said, listen, Trump don't know what he's talking about. We have the most secure elections in Georgia. Now, there was some strange things that happened in Georgia that night. Does that prove that 2020 there was things going on in the 2020 election? No, I believe you watch 2,000 Mules and other things like that. I believe that's more probable than the machines going wacko. But Donald Trump is indicted for the 4th time, and this is probably one of the hardest cases. There is some commentators that I've listened to that said that they think Mar-a-Lago is still the strongest case for them to put President Trump in jail. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I say this is all political. If you look at the court dates, and Fox News did a great job doing this, they went ahead and they put a timeline. Don't you know that Donald Trump, majority of his campaign is going to be in court if these DAs and special counsel Jack Smith gets their way? Donald Trump will hardly be on the campaign trail. Donald Trump would go ahead and spend more time in the courtroom than he does with his campaign staff. He spend more time with his lawyers. Let's just say it like that. And ladies and gentlemen, people are like, well, that's just a coincidence. No, I don't think that is a coincidence. This DA asked for 6 months. 6 months. Then that the trial can start. Ladies and gentlemen, trials like this take time. And look, I don't think these indictments should happen anyway. This is all to stop Donald Trump. This is all to tell people, look, we don't want Donald Trump back in office. We're going to tie him up with legal fees. We're going to tie him up with court dates so he can't campaign to you, the audience. And this is why I believe Donald Trump should show up for the Republican primary. He might not still be able to because he's not signing the loyalty pledge, but he should be out there as much camera time as he possibly can. He needs to go ahead and do. But ladies and gentlemen, this is all to stop Donald Trump. Isaac, there is really damning evidence in these indictments. Well, we haven't gone to court yet, and it's kind of funny that all these people want to go to court. Even now, Donald Trump is attempting to move this case to federal trial for 2 reasons. Because we do know, look, 2 of these indictments are state, 2 of these indictments are federal. But Donald Trump, we got an article earlier that said Trump attempts to push federal trial in D.C. back until 2026. There's a reason for that. One, he'd be president. If he turns it to be, if he goes ahead and puts it to federal and not state, he can go ahead and pardon himself. Now, a lot of people might say, well, hold on, Isaac. Couldn't Donald Trump just pardon himself in the state of Georgia? No, because this is a state issue. And Georgia, sounding weird, it's sounding weird in Georgia. Listen, something's going down in Georgia. And Georgia has the governor and the president can't go ahead and pardon nobody. They got to go in front of a pardon board. So, and look, if I was the pardon board, I would go ahead and say, yes, we need a pardon. This is the former president of the United States. This does not look good for the country if we put a former president who is also the current leader of the GOP, put him in jail. Can you imagine this? Okay, can you imagine this does not go to federal court? Imagine Donald Trump wins the presidency and he's convicted of these crimes. How would that look? President of the United States convicted to go to jail. Ladies and gentlemen, also with this, it's kind of funny how the Democrats are working with this. They want Donald Trump to have a mugshot. The sheriff, I don't know if he's a Democrat or a Republican, but the way he's sounding, he's very happy that Donald Trump is indicted and he gets to take the mugshot. Remember, the other 3 indictments, they didn't involve a mugshot. But the Democrats really want that mugshot. Why? Because that is a political tool. Could you see the ads that President Joe Biden runs if he wins his primary? Because against all other beliefs, a lot of people think Robert Kennedy isn't making headway. He is making headway. You notice there ain't no polls out there showing a head-to-head matchup between Robert Kennedy and Joe Biden. Just telling you. Remember, they don't give you polls to show you data of what you think. They try to inform what you think with polls. So Donald Trump, but they want that mugshot. But like I said, going back to if it is President Joe Biden or if it is Robert Kennedy, could you imagine the ads right now? Will this be your president? And show the mugshot across the screen. That is what that's about. These indictments are to stop Donald Trump and to make him look bad. And them trying to make him look bad isn't working right now. It isn't working right now. But as I said in the beginning of it, this also shows that we're living in a tutorial justice system. There's some, like Dan Bongino, don't believe the justice system is alive and well. I think it is for certain people. But for others, it is hard to go ahead and get this to get justice. Why I'm saying that? Well, Hillary Clinton breaks out in laughter before Trump's indictment. Oh, I can't believe this. That was Hillary Clinton's quote. She was on Rachel Maddow's show, and she was saying how the system's working. Donald Trump should be put in jail. Donald Trump is evil. She was making all these statements, and she's talking out of both ends of her mouth because in 2016, she was an election denier. She said that the election was stolen from her because of Russia interference. If you remember that, ladies and gentlemen. Also, Richard Maddow spoke the same lie, which we have, if it's been proven time and time again, that the Russian influence or the Russia interference was not even true. If you remember this, ladies and gentlemen, she went. And look, I was going to play it, but it's 24 minutes long. I don't want y'all to just hear Democrats talking about the fraud of Donald Trump and how Donald Trump stole the election in 2016. But RNC Research, a Twitter account, went ahead and put out a video of 24 minutes of Democrats denying elections going back to 2000. But also with this, Hillary Clinton saying that the system worked, it did not work for her because she had 30,000 emails and text messages that she wiped clean with a wiped out the whole hard drive. And ladies and gentlemen, you had James Comey on the stage telling people no reasonable prosecutor would go after Hillary Clinton, but they went after Donald Trump. And they were told to look under every rock, behind every door, look there through the window, everything. They told the special prosecutor, look, throw the sink at Donald Trump. This is showing that we live in a tutorial justice. Just Hillary Clinton commenting on these indictments. Also this week, which I believe it was Thursday, I got an article and it made my eyes open as big as a house. Hunter Biden tax charges dismissed by federal judge following plea deal breakdown. So, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. Well, let me read a little bit of the article. This is for Fox News. Hunter Biden misdemeanor tax charge has been dismissed by a federal judge in Delaware. An expected move after his sweetheart plea deal fell through last month during his first court appearance. Ladies and gentlemen, he goes to court. The plea deal is a shamble. You had David Weiss, who is a special prosecutor in this case now, give Hunter Biden the plea deal. The judge rejects it. Now, all of a sudden, because of the special counsel, because they're going to another district to charge Hunter Biden, all of a sudden, his misdemeanor tax charge is dropped. Now, the gun charge is still there because they're fighting over the plea deal because Biden thinks that because they shook hands on the deal that he don't have to go to jail. And the special prosecutor's like, no, that deal didn't fall through. So now they're having legal battles and fighting over if the plea deal, part of the plea deal is working, is true. He's going to live by the standards. Well, good thing, you're living right, but the deal is not there. But ladies and gentlemen, Hunter Biden, misdemeanor charges are dropped. Tax invasion. He did it. He said he did it. He was going to plead guilty to it. Then all of a sudden he thought maybe he had to go to jail, so he pleaded not guilty. But you have Donald Trump sitting in Florida with 4 indictments. where the special prosecutors and the DAs of these states are not planning on giving him no deal, nothing whatsoever. No, you did wrong. You're bad. You're evil. You're going to jail. But Hillary Clinton deletes 30,000 emails. And the FBI director at the time says, no special prosecutor would ever touch this. And then you have Hunter Biden, who has a special prosecutor that gave him a sweetheart deal. All of a sudden, charges are dropped. Because as a special counsel, I'm going to go somewhere else. And I'm going to charge him. Ladies and gentlemen, this will probably be the last time we hear of these tax charges against him. I would be very surprised if we have another charge against Hunter Biden. And they say we don't live in a tutorial justice system. Ladies and gentlemen, and look, this has happened before. It's probably going to happen in the future. If you have a D behind your name and you're a politician, you can get away with almost anything. But if you have an R behind your name and you really care for the country, and they find if you clip your toenails wrong, they will indict you, or they're going to go ahead and go after you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to quote Mark Levin on this. Mark Levin said it the best way. Stalin would be happy. Putin is probably laughing. The nations around us or that are communistic and socialistic are laughing at us because what they do with Putin and Stalin and Mussolini and all these other people that were dictators and evil people did, America is somewhat doing, because you have a political party going after a political candidate because they know if they go on policy, they won't win. So what they have to do, they have to go ahead and throw the kitchen sink at him, at Donald Trump, to win. And that is wrong. We don't live in Cuba. We don't live in World War II Germany. We don't live in Russia. We live in America. And for these DAs to do what they're doing and this special counsel doing what he's doing is wrong. And it's not right. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back in a few moments. How you doing, everyone? Isaac Hayes here, host of Brothers Just Searching and the Cajun Conservative. Are you in the market for a new or used golf cart? Look no further. Cajun Cart has the karting companion you're looking for. Located at 3023 Northwest Avenger Thruway in Lafayette, Louisiana, Cajun Cart is your authorized club car, easy-go, Cushman, and Gorilla dealer. When dealing with Cajun Carts, you're not only purchasing a product or service, but you're also investing in the name. Serving the Acadiana area since 2003, Cajun Cart prides itself in superb customer service, top-notch rental, and best-in-class inventory. Give Cajun Carts a call today at 337-896-3411 or go check out their website, CajunCarts.com, to explore the options for your next karting adventure. Remember Cajun Carts when you're looking for your next golf cart, and tell them Brothers Just Searching and the Cajun Conservative sent you.
Your blood cleansed and made us whole. Not one hoof, not one soul.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the second segment of the Cajun Conservative Show today. Look, I'm gonna make a point right here too, because a lot of the Republican candidates and Rascamana, something like that. I can't think of the guy's business name. Every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, that's how you say it, and I still can't say it. He made a point. He said, look, I want to win the nomination for the Republican Party. I do. But he also made a statement. He said, I don't want to do it like this. And ladies and gentlemen, that's what Biden and the Democrat Party is doing. They know they cannot win on policy. So they're going to go ahead and attack Donald Trump with the justice system, which the justice system was never intended for this purpose. It was to provide justice. Lady Justice is blind for a reason. But in these cases, she's peeking a little bit. And that is wrong. And look, Donald Trump, first off, I don't think he can get a fair trial. So maybe in Florida. But even that, the case that Jack Smith brought out against Donald Trump in Miami, that is a liberal city. Miami, look, my wife loves Miami. We planning on going visit. It's probably going to be a nice place to visit whenever we get that opportunity. But ladies and gentlemen, in Miami, it's a liberal city, I believe. A lot of big cities are. It's like Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge and New Orleans, ladies and gentlemen, is two of the liberal cities here in the state of Louisiana. But ladies, it just bothers me. It really bothers me that we have like one case in Washington D.C., one case in the county. I think it's I would have to go find the county's name in Georgia. It's very liberal, and then you have Alvin Bragg's indictment in New York. New York's one of the most liberal cities in the world. And what's sad about these 4 indictments too is, think about this: Donald Trump will not get a fair trial wherever he goes. Isaac, what do you mean by that? Well, it's going to be biased either way. And I'm not trying to sound how can I say this? I'm not trying to sound optimistic, I guess you could say, or I'm not trying to be the devil's advocate, but Donald Trump will not get a fair trial wherever he goes because of 2 reasons. One, he's the president of the United States, and everybody knows him, and everybody has an opinion on what former president of the United States. And 2, everybody's going to already have an opinion. That's why it goes in with point number 1. But ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump would not get a fair trial wherever he goes, good or bad. If he goes to let's just use, for example, comes to Louisiana. If he goes to Baton Rouge and pick a jury pool out of Baton Rouge, well, guess what? 9 out of 10, he's going to be found guilty. But let him come to Lafayette or surrounding areas of Acadiana, go to a courtroom. Let him go to Abbeville. Let him go somewhere other than a blue state. He probably would get exonerated. Why? Because people are going to be like, well, this is a political indictment, so we're not going to vote for it. So you're not going to get a fair trial, at least not here, not in certain parts of the country. It also goes to the point, a lot of them are saying, well, Donald Trump, remember we talked about last time we were together about this protection order that Jack Smith wanted, and the judge was saying, well, it would influence the trial. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to influence the trial one way, shape, or form. This last indictment in Georgia, they let cameras into the courtroom. This is going to be live all over the country of a president sitting in a courtroom. You're not going to tell me that that's going to influence the jury of another trial? See how the hypocrisy in this? We don't want you to influence the jury, but we can influence the jury, or we can go ahead and make points on live television that nobody else, that you can't do, but we can. Because they're trying to influence a jury pool right now. This is why Donald Trump just won't get a fair election in Georgia or Washington or Miami, anywhere he goes in the country, because either way, there's going to be bias. Because you're going to have the Republicans, or you're going to have a red state or red county, whatever. They're going to say this is a political this is politically motivated. We're going to vote no, and then you have the left or a blue state or a blue city say, well, no, Donald Trump's guilty. He interfered with elections. He went ahead and he stole stolen documents, so we're going to vote. And they're hearing everything on the news. Ladies, that's why I say President Trump will not get a fair trial. Nowhere. It don't matter where he's at. The only way I see is somewhat fair, they do 5 Democrats and 5 Republicans. And even that, when they're picking the jury, all Donald Trump's lawyers have to do is say, hey, who did you vote for in the 2020 election? And if they say, well, we don't have to tell you, well, it's irrelevant to the case, Your Honor, she has to say, or he has to say. And they say, well, we voted Donald Trump. You're going to have special counsel Jack Smith come out and say, objection, they voted for Trump, they're biased. And if they say Biden, Trump's lawyers can say, well, he's not reliable, Your Honor. He's voted for Biden. He is biased in this case. See what I'm saying? He's not going to get a fair trial nowhere, wherever he goes. So, and look, if Donald Trump did something wrong, yeah, let justice prevail, but it's hard. And especially when you have a majority of people on the right, like myself, believe this is politically motivated, and they're only doing this to stop him from running in 2024. Now, like I said, every time this happens, I wonder, should I vote for Donald Trump? Like I said, I'm a Ron DeSantis guy. Yes, he is falling in the polls. But like I said earlier, polls are there to shape your opinion, not to inform you of what's going on in the country. But Ron DeSantis, according to some polls, he has fallen to third. He has fallen to third place to the business owner Victor Ramaswamy. I can't say his name all the way right. But ladies and gentlemen, if that's the case, a lot of people are voting for Donald Trump because of this. They're tired of this tutorial justice system. Let me get a taste of coffee. All right, so let's go ahead and continue. So this week, President Joe Biden was in a lot of hot water. Why, you may ask? Well, because his comment concerning Maui, Hawaii. Now, if you're not aware, and look, keep the people in Hawaii in your prayers. They had a wildfire out there, and people were told to evacuate. And the only way some people escaped these fires was to run into the ocean where the flames wouldn't touch them. Some of these people were standing in the water and they were watching their homes burn. Last time I've looked, and I haven't saw the latest reports yet this morning, but unfortunately, almost 100 people have lost their lives and thousands upon thousands are missing. This is one of the worst. I think this is the worst wildfire that has ever happened to this country. Now, Hawaii is off the coast. We understand that, but it's still part of America. That is America right there. And as an American citizen, or as American citizens, our hearts should be drawn to Hawaii and pray for them. So when asked about this during a beach vacation, we know that Hunter Biden loves being on the beach for some reason, and he was on this beach vacation. He was going to the beach, whatever, and they were asking him, the media was shouting out questions. Now, you remember Donald Trump. Donald Trump would always go meet the media, give him about 5-10 minutes, and then walk back to his vehicle. Biden don't do that. Now, Biden is afraid of the media. I don't care whatever, even friendly media. They have to really go through the questions. They have to make sure that it's a very favorable person that is interviewing President Joe Biden, because he might slip up. He might say something like, and you're like, what? What language is that? He'll say, well, he don't like the media. So even friendly media. So when he sees the media poll asking questions, he normally don't say nothing. Now, this question came up. They were asking him about Maui, and they were asking him about the wildfires. And President Joe Biden, without hesitation, just looked at him. No comment. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the President of the United States. This is one of your states that you won in the last election in 2020. If I were the Hawaii citizens, I would never vote for Biden again. For a president to come out and say no comment, it's pretty alarming. Look, he could have basically said this. Listen, everybody. Look, I'm gonna have a statement later on, but I want to let you know that me and Jill, we're praying for them. We have our administration is reaching out. We're seeing how they help, but at the same time, we're praying for them. I'll make a further statement later. That's all he had to say. But this president was more focused on going to the beach, where he spent probably half of his presidency so far at the beach, thinking he's on retirement or something, but he's supposed to be the president of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, no comment. Now, this started a firestorm this week because people were wondering, is the president planning on going visit? Now, he did break silence, and he approved disaster relief, and he says really tough stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, this only came after this controversy. All of a sudden, he comes back to Washington, D.C., and he starts giving statements and telling people that he's going to go visit. Now, there is a planned trip to go to Nevada, but there wasn't no planned trip until lately to go to Maui. And his excuse was, well, I don't want to go over there because I don't want my visit to stop the rescue procedures and to stop everything. Okay, I can understand your point because you're the president of the United States, but at the same time, as the leader of the free world, And to show the people of America that you care for the people of Maui, you should show up and tell people we are working with the state government and the local governments, and we're trying to make your lives better now after this disaster. I don't believe the federal government should be involved with every little thing we do, but this is a time where federal government is needed, especially the president of the United States. Why is it the president going there does not help anything? No, he doesn't help people apparently, but at the same time, it just shows that the leader of the free world, our so-called leader, is there to be with the people that were involved with a tragedy. If you notice, ladies and gentlemen, this is why a lot of people like Donald Trump. Donald Trump just didn't show up. Donald Trump unloaded water. Don't you remember there was the disaster? I think in 2019, something was going on. I can't remember what it is. But Donald Trump, well, no, correction. It was during Biden's time. I think it was the Florida hurricane. It was something. It was a national disaster. And Biden was like, I'm going to show up in a couple of weeks. Trump went out there with truckloads of supplies. Guess what? The next day, we have announced that Biden is going to go ahead and join because Donald Trump showed up, Joe Biden. Donald Trump cared for the people. Every national disaster or any disaster, whatever happened in this country, Donald Trump was there in a few days. It wasn't just a photo op. It was to show the people of America, look, I care for you. I want to help you. But not Joe Biden. Joe Biden said no comment while sitting on the beach. And look, like I said, I know I'm late on a lot of these topics, but come on, man, as Joe would say. You have a whole state suffering. Look, I couldn't imagine standing in water and seeing fire burn everything that I worked hard for. And thinking, our president is sitting on a beach drinking cocktails while we're suffering here. It's not a good image. Now, you might wonder, well, why Biden would do that? Why Biden wouldn't rush? Well, he might have more important things to worry about. Like going to the White House and telling kids that daddy owes you. Talk to me afterwards about the ice cream. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He's at the White House talking to some kids and people that showed up and he's telling kids to tell their daddies that they owe them and they need to go take ice cream and talk to me because I know where the good ice cream is. Well, we know that. Joe Biden has taken many photo ops where people are asking, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream, Mr. President? He might have been more worried about that. Or he's more worried about racial discrimination because the Biden administration urges colleges to continue the racial discrimination following Supreme Court ruling on affirmative action. So he's telling colleges, hey, don't do what the Supreme Court tells you. Pick on race. That's more important to the people of Maui, his political agenda on affirmative action. Or it might just be he's telling them, saying he's trying to cancel student debt. According to the Daily Caller, Biden administration begins wiping away billions of student debt for thousands of borrowers after the Supreme Court tells them, no, you cannot do that. That's more important to the people of Maui. Or better yet, and this is the most disturbing of all, Pentagon, FBI alert grieving 9/11 families. Architects of the attack, 4 others may have death penalties overturned. That's from the Daily Wire. The Pentagon and FBI alerted several grieving families who lost relatives in the deadly 9/11 attack, in which nearly 3,000 Americans were murdered, that the suspect architects of the attacks and his fellow defenders might have their death sentence overturned through plea deals. Let that sink in for a while. We have families, people in Maui, Hawaii, in the ocean, watching their houses burn. But the Pentagon, the FBI, where did it get this? That, hey, let's start plea deals with these cutthroat murderers that have the death penalty. Oh, we're working on a plea deal to because they're sitting in Guantanamo Bay, and we can't show the world that we're tyrants. These are terrorists. Ladies and gentlemen, and look, when I heard this, and I'm putting this story together today, the President of the United States can make a no-comment quote to the media concerning a state that has just went through a tragedy. And after controversy, hurries up and goes there because he don't want to mess up his image. Is more worried about affirming action, canceling student debt, and possibly freeing terrorists or taking the death penalty off for terrorists that killed 3,000 Americans. Oh, Isaac, that ain't the president. That's the Pentagon and the FBI. Who the hell you think runs the FBI and the Pentagon? He's called the commander-in-chief. He appoints the FBI director. Oh, that's Donald Trump's FBI director. Christopher Raids did everything to stop Donald Trump. That was one of the worst picks Donald Trump ever did, if I have to criticize Donald Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, this man cares more. Because I promise you, if that was Donald Trump, you wouldn't hear about a plea deal. You wouldn't hear about ice cream. You would see Donald Trump in Maui. Why Biden's caring more about it? Because basically, this is the plain sense of it, and this is my opinion. President Joe Biden don't care for the American people or the best interests of America. He only cares about himself, his family, and apparently his business partners and other countries around the world. Remember, it was a quote from Joe Biden. I don't care about America's economy. I care about the world's economy. Maybe that's why our economy's tanking. Maybe that's why our economy is so bad right now. You have grieving families that from 9/11 hearing that the architects of the attack might get away with it. You have Biden, my son Hunter didn't do nothing wrong. As we heard in the last segment, his crimes are wiped away with. Oh, I think you got to realize that ain't Biden. That's the special counsel. Who's giving him the orders? Ladies and gentlemen, Biden don't care about nothing but himself, his family, and his business dealings. And I don't know how this fits in. I can't tell you how these people getting plea deals. But come on, the Pentagon, you think really the Pentagon woke up one day and said, hey, we're going to go ahead and give a plea deal to terrorists? Makes me sick that this man is sitting in office. Supposed to be the most voted, most popular president and the most votes president ever is sitting in the White House allowing the architect of 9/11 and his four other people to have plea deals to get the death penalty off. And worried about of student loans and that would put us in more debt, by the way, just saying. But see, it gives him votes in 2024, apparently. And telling kids, hey, I know where the best ice cream is more important to Biden than the victims of the fire in Maui. It's sad, folks. It's sad that we got a leader that don't care about his people. It's sad. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back in a few moments. How you doing, everyone? Isaac Hayes here, host of Brothers Just Searching and the Cajun Conservative. Are you in the market for a new or used golf cart? Look no further. Cajun Cart has the karting companion you're looking for. Located at 3023 Northwest Avenger Thruway in Lafayette, Louisiana, Cajun Cart is your authorized club car, easy-go, Cushman, and Gorilla dealer. When dealing with Cajun Carts, you're not only purchasing a product or service, but you're also investing in the name. Serving the Acadiana area since 2003, Cajun Cart prides itself in superb customer service, top-notch rental, and best-in-class inventory. Give Cajun Carts a call today at 337-896-3411 or go check out their website, CajunCarts.com, to explore the options for your next karting adventure. Remember Cajun Carts when you're looking for your next golf cart, and tell them Brothers Just Searching and the Cajun Conservative sent you. All right, everybody, welcome back to the third and final segment of the Cajun Conservative Show. Just thinking about something. I remember when Barack Obama got out, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna miss a no scandalous president." With that, plenty of scandals in the Biden administration. And when Donald Trump came along, you remember Donald Trump cared for the people. He brought inflation down. He did all this stuff, and they called them evil. They called them everything under the sun. Let's just say it like that. The media bashed this man. I remember President Bush, and I thought President Bush was bad. President Donald Trump got far worse coverage. If I'm not mistaken, I think 98% of the coverage of President Trump during his presidency was negative. 98%. But you can tell this man cared for the people. He went ahead. He loved the American citizen. Then you come to this President Joe Biden, making a no comment. He's basically telling the people of Hawaii, hey, y'all are a back seat to other issues I have going on right now. Like I said, just put yourself in their shoes, okay? But put yourself in. Look, we went through hurricanes here in Louisiana. We've had issues. You know, Katrina. I remember we didn't live in New Orleans. I'll never live in New Orleans. But in New Orleans, we had Katrina happen with the breaches of the levee and stuff like that. And we felt the effects here of Katrina. Bad storm. And at the time, it was President Bush. And it was just a relief to hear that President Bush was in New Orleans trying to do his job and trying to assess the damage and try to get help to. It's just, you know, I just couldn't imagine, because you, the listener, just imagine you sitting in the Pacific Ocean and you're seeing houses, trees, all that burn, and you're just there helpless. They were on the beach not because they were having a cocktail like Biden was. They were on the beach to save their lives. And you have President Biden on another beach in Delaware, drinking cocktails or drinking, you know, there's a picture I have of him digging in a cooler. President Joe Biden was there for enjoyment. Those people were there for survival. And you have him, I'm not going to make a comment on that. Like I said, how do you botch up a comment by saying, you know, me and Jill, we're praying for them. That's all you had to do. You know, hey, look, we know it's a disaster. We're working on it. We're praying for him. No, he was more worried about getting to the beach. I just makes me sick. It also makes me sick when you have people trying to justify his accomplishments. Record inflation, 9.1 a while back. Now it's saying that the inflation come down. I heard Biden say that the inflation's down. Yeah, after you brought it up to 9.1. I heard someone say the other day, I was talking to, I went to a customer's office and they had some people there and we started talking. And he said, let's kind of speed up the trickle economics. Remember, Biden says it's trickle economics. We got to do it real slowly, which means we got to bring the economy bad to where when it comes to election, it's not as bad as we put it so we can get elected. But trickle down economics. But high inflation, high gas prices, food is higher than ever before. Now the inflation has went down to 6.1, but the way that it's structured, and they look at it now, food's still high, gas, all that stuff. Americans are not better off than they were 4 years ago. We're worse off than we were 4 years ago. But you have people like Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader in the House of Representatives, say people haven't paid full attention to the Biden economic accomplishments. I just asked the question, what accomplishments? Jeffries, you have You, like I said, I just mentioned high inflation, high gas. Yes, but inflation's down to 6.1. Oh, we should celebrate after you brought it up to 9.1 and 6.5, and then you had it at 9.1, brought it down to 6.5. But before it was at 9.1 and all the other records that were broken before that, it was sitting at 1.7 under Donald Trump. Inflation was almost non-existent. We were paying here in Louisiana. Look, the other day I saw it was $3.50 a gallon right now. I have 2 vehicles. I have to put gas in both of them unless they don't run. But I got 2 vehicles. Me and my wife got to pay $3.50. Do you know when Donald Trump's last day in office, we were paying $1.79? Oh, well, Isaac, what does that mean? It's summer, it's hot, people are traveling. No, it's just showing. This is also the same president. And I guess if you want to count this as an accomplishment, Joe Biden said a while back he wished he could stop all offshore drilling. He was trying to stop all drilling in the East Coast, the West Coast, and in the Gulf of Mexico. That's an accomplishment, trying to save the planet? What accomplishment, Jeffries? Oh, you got to realize we got more people working than ever before. Well, yeah, we have to get 2 or 3 jobs to pay our bills. Look, I got 1 job, and it's hard, especially now. And I'm hearing this from all over businesses in Louisiana where they're saying it is slow. Then there isn't that much work. Why? Because people are holding their money because they can't afford to do projects. What accomplishment, Jeffries? The unemployment rate's at an all-time low. Yes, because we have to get 2 or 3 jobs to pay our bills. Is that better? No, it's not. We are not better off than we were 4 years ago. We're worse off than we were 4 years ago. Because we have a president that wants to spend money and cancel billions of dollars of student loan debt. What accomplishments? There is nobody that can give an accomplishment of Joe Biden. Joe Biden is by far one of the worst presidents ever, if not the worst president ever. All right, moving on. Where does the state of Louisiana rank among states? Near the bottom in this next survey. This is from KPEL 96.5. And there was a survey done. Louisiana is the 3rd worst state to live in, according to a new survey. The Pelican State has picked up another low ranking according to the latest survey from Wallet Hub. The survey, which looks at the best and worst states to live in, has Louisiana 3rd of the bottom, with particularly low score in economy, education, health, and safety. Now, the worst states to live in, according to this poll, would be New Mexico, Alaska, and Louisiana. Mississippi came in 4th, Oklahoma 5. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the 3rd. If you live in Louisiana, if you don't live in Louisiana, I know this story really don't mean much. But here in Louisiana, look, we are a beautiful state here in Louisiana. Very beautiful. We're the sportsman's paradise. We have the Chavalai Basin. We have Baton Rouge. We have LSU football, Raging Cajun football, Tulane football. We can mention ULM. We have great things. By far, we should be one of the greatest states to live in. We should be right behind Texas. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I just don't understand our policies over here. Now, look, Louisiana has a lot of problems. We're in the middle of a gubernatorial race. Sean Wilson will be the nominee for the Democrat Party. He's going to go ahead and get into the general election that's going to happen in November. I think November 2nd or something. But then you have a packed Republican field. That for governor. We have great candidates for Attorney General. We have great candidates for Secretary of State. We have everything to make this state great. Unfortunately, we have a Democrat governor now that says he's a moderate, but goes ahead and spends and takes away our raises taxes and everything like that. And then what's sad is we have a majority Republican House and Senate, and they still can't stop this guy. Ladies and gentlemen, for my state, Louisiana, this is embarrassing. And look, I can't say nothing. A few years ago, I was thinking about moving out of this state. Why? Because I saw my family having a better opportunity in states like Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, Texas, Arkansas, and Mississippi, all our neighboring states have Republican governors, and their state has improved. I see Mississippi sitting at number 4, right under Louisiana. But ladies and gentlemen, back in the day, we would have said, well, Mississippi's ahead of us. And look, I'm not trying to dog Mississippi. And look, Mississippi's like Louisiana. They get some bad rips. But ladies and gentlemen, the third state, the worst state to live in, is sad. And look, we have so much potential. But our left-leaning governor, along with spineless Republicans, have made the state not good to live in. And this is why, and I'm not putting an endorsement here, but this is why we need to elect a governor that cares for the people. I don't care if it's Jeff Landry, Stephen Wagaspack, John Schroeder, Sherrod Hewitt, Mr. Nelson. I don't care. We need somebody. And look, this is the thing. And look, I've met Stephen Wagaspack, real nice guy. I'm in works. I'm trying to get some gubernatorial candidates here on the show. But any one of them, I would ask this question. What are you going to do to make this state better? Because our state, we're losing people left and right. There's people that are moving out of this state. If I'm not mistaken, I heard some the other day on the radio. It said that 67,000 people have left this state. It's sad. And I would ask them, what are you going to do about the offer? What are you going to do to bring jobs back here? We need to make this state more presentable. And what's sad is you have some politicians in Baton Rouge that would say, well, yeah, but we fix the roads, we're going to attract more people. No, it's not about the roads. I complain about Louisiana roads, and I would ride, but we ride them all the time. But I would ride on bad roads if I'm getting jobs and I'm making a lot of money. I wouldn't care. Or if the economy was good here to where we could afford things, I would go ahead. I'm not worried about roads. I've never had a candidate sit here, and unless they brought it up. But I never had a candidate sit right here on this chair. And I never asked, hey, if you fix the roads, would it make it better in Louisiana? I never asked that. To my knowledge, there was only one politician I've talked to, and this was off air, that talked to me about making roads better for Louisiana. And I basically told him, I'm not worried about roads unless if we fix the economy, if we fix other things. But I just thought it was neat that, well, not neat. It's a tragedy that we're sitting number 3, as the worst states to live in. There's other states you didn't see on there. Florida. You didn't see Arkansas. You didn't see a lot of the red states, South Dakota. You didn't see none of that in there. Why? Because those states are booming. Because their governors are pretty legit. All right, moving on. Ex-NFL player Michael Orr, inspiration of The Blind Side, said he was never adopted by his family. This is a story. It's not political, but I think it's interesting. Michael Orr, I believe I'm saying his name right, is a very inspirational story. And I watched the movie. I watched the movie I think like twice. It's been a long time since I watched it though, but the movie was real good. It was real breathtaking. So apparently this family went ahead and adopted Michael Orr, or supposedly adopted him. And in the movie and in real life, they saw he was homeless. He didn't have, he didn't have a home. He was having a bad life. So they took him in. They took him as his own, and they took him as their own, and helped his way through college and all that stuff. Now, what the movie portrays is that Michael Orr didn't know jack squat about football, and he didn't care. But in reality, in reading some of the articles and looking into the story, he was a very talented athlete. And as a talented athlete, he was talented in track, he was talented in basketball, and also football. They didn't put that in the movie. Coming when I remember watching the movie, and I do this all the time. I do like the Elvis movie. I make sure before I watch Elvis, or even after I watch it, I do some research to see how accurate the movie was. And I came across that with this movie, where they were saying that some of the stuff was not accurate in the movie. Well, come to find out. But they took him, and he became an NFL star and all that stuff. He won a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens and all. Great story. And it shows compassion for somebody. But come to find out that Orr discovered that he was never legally adopted by the family. On that also, they told him it was a conservatorship after his 18th birthday, and they made money off the movie. The two the two adults and their two biological kids made millions, while allegedly Orr didn't make not a cent from The Blind Side. That would have been a red flag in my opinion. You know, you made this movie, you need my consent to make it. You say, hey, they're making a movie about you, and they don't talk about you no more. They don't ask you nothing. There was somebody else running the ship. They made millions on this person. Now I believe he's retired now, or he's gonna retire. So people ask, well, why this is coming up now? Well, ladies and gentlemen, his attorney said it the best way. When he found out about it, he was in shock. Now, look, I follow some Christian YouTubers and everything. And there was one that said that, oh, he should be grateful that they took him off the street and that they gave. Okay, I understand all that. Look, he probably is grateful. He probably is. But the problem with it is they lied to him, because they saw the potential they had. Now, these were millionaires to begin with. I think he owned a couple of Sonics or something. He owned a food chain, franchise chain. Ladies and gentlemen, this man was filthy rich. And look, how do millionaires get richer? Get richer? Well, they invest in something, and I guess they looked at this as an investment. And this is the problem I have with this. If this is true, this accusation by Michael Orr on this family used his talent to make millions. And look, don't get me wrong, he made millions as well. He played in the NFL. But ladies and gentlemen, if they made millions off of his name without him knowing about it, no, they need to go ahead and pay that back. And look, this is a story. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is a story of greed. If this is true, now just imagine Michael's thinking, did they really love me? Did they really give me everything or help me out because they wanted me to be prosperous? What was it? What if he wouldn't have made it to the NFL? What if they just, hey, you're done, get out of here? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a disturbing story. And like I said, the movie, look, I'm not telling people not to watch the movie. I'll probably watch it again. It's a good story. It's inspired by true events. But ladies and gentlemen, it's just sad that I couldn't imagine that. So moving on, everyone, don't you know that clean air and stopping climate change or governments trying to stop climate change is a constitutional right? This came from the Daily Montana. And it says the state of Montana failure to consider greenhouse gas emissions from energy and mining projects violate the state constitution because it does not protect Montana's right to clean and healthful environment and the state natural resources for unreasonable depiction. A judge ruled ruled Monday in a victory for 16 youth plaintiffs who sued the state. So the state went ahead and passed some laws. I believe it was to drill and other things like that. And 16 kids who have been indoctrinated by the public school system to believe that climate change is happening and that one day we're all going to burn up, which I still ask the question to any climate change activists. Okay, if the world's going to blow up and this world's gonna cease to exist, are our efforts in vain? Yeah, but we're prolonging it, so it will happen. So even if we're prolonging it, It's still going to happen that one day this world's going to burn up. Now, I believe, according to the Bible, in the book of Revelations, that God's going to make everything new. He's going to pure everything with fire. If they really want to talk about climate change and extreme heat, they don't want to be there at that time when God goes ahead and refurbish everything. But, ladies and gentlemen, these youth have been indoctrinated that they stop. If they do this, they're going to prolong climate change just in the state of Montana. Now, but they made laws, and these youth thought that the laws were wrong, so they sued them. And according to their constitution in Montana, they say that they have a constitutional right to clean energy and to and to have a clean and healthful environment. Ladies and gentlemen, now this is a groundbreaking case here, because now we have people that believe that if they feel you are hurting the environment, they have a constitutional right to healthful and clean energy. So now they're going to go ahead and sue you to go ahead and get you to stop drilling, stop fracking, stop coal mining, because see, that's all hurting the environment. Youth kids did this. Youth kids went ahead and sued their state government and won. Now, I believe this is going to an appeal. The state is appealing this because they think it's wrong that this has happened. So they're appealing to another judge, and it's going to go to appeals. But, ladies and gentlemen, now I got presidents that if you think you don't have clean energy, you could sue somebody. That is dangerous, very dangerous. And I'm just look. When I first saw that, I was like, wow. And look, like I said, it shows the public school working, or the indoctrination of public school kids is working. This is why I advocate for people to bring their kids to private school if they can afford it. Or either, better yet, homeschool their kids. Homeschooling is a lot cheaper than public school and private school. Like I said, I thank the Lord that I am blessed that I can put my kids in a private school where they can hang out with kids and stuff like that. But I was raised on homeschooling. I'm a homeschool graduate. And I've accomplished a lot in my life. Not as much as I would like, but I've accomplished a lot. But, yeah. Because, I don't know if these teens think, oh, we're saving the planet because we did this. Well, good luck to you, but this is crazy. All right, one more story before we wrap up and go home. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been talking about the Ron DeSantis versus Gavin Newsom debate for a while. It is happening. It's supposed to be happening. But according to Politico, the debate stalling over Fox News audience. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Gavin Newsom does not want an audience in the room, because he's afraid that if Ron DeSantis says something and you're going to have people clapping and yay, Ron, and they're going to be boo Newsom. And there's other things that are involved in it, but the details is mainly focused around the audience. Ron DeSantis wants a debate in front of audience, and Gavin Newsom doesn't. Ladies and gentlemen, why? Okay, remember, Gavin Newsom was asked this question: would you debate Ron DeSantis? And he said yes. DeSantis was asked by the same host, Fox News' Sean Hannity, if he would go ahead and do it, and he said yes. Ladies and gentlemen, why is Gavin Newsom stalling? Because I think Gavin Newsom, under somewhat of his understanding, knows that if he goes and debates Ron DeSantis, it would not look good for him. See, Ron DeSantis has one of the best economies. He has one of the best states. People are flocking. They're leaving California and going to Florida. I know someone personally that already told me that they wish they can move to Florida, and they're planning on moving to Florida later on. But Ron DeSantis' Florida is booming. He does a great job in Florida. Meanwhile, in Gavin Newsom's California, they're trying to ban weed eaters. They're trying to ban gas-powered vehicles. If I'm not mistaken, by the year of 2035, they're supposed to have no gas vehicles in the state of California. Their economy's in a shamble. They have people sleeping on the streets. They have people passing their feces all over the street. This debating ain't good for the Gavin Newsom. So instead of just outright saying, listen, we don't want to debate Ron DeSantis, they're going to find issues. Will this debate happen? I hope it happens. I will watch it because it's going to make some great political television. But don't be surprised if I come over this microphone and tell you it's been canceled due to the fact that they couldn't come to agreements. Watch. I'm just, and look, Democrats do this, ladies and gentlemen. Democrats do this. People on the left do this all the time. We're going to debate you and we will put you in the ground. And when they get to the debate, you're like, it sounds like the opposite did. So instead of them being embarrassed, they go ahead and we couldn't come to agreements. It wouldn't even surprise me. Look, talking about debates, it wouldn't surprise me Joe Biden wouldn't agree to any debates, whoever the Republican nominee is. Because, see, last time he was there, he could talk about the Biden administration, the Obama administration. I was part of the Obama administration. I did this with Obama. I did that with Obama. And people's like, oh, look how much stuff he did. But this time around, it's his accomplishments, which I've already talked about in the beginning of the segment, is none. So it wouldn't surprise me Biden don't do debates with his nominee because it's going to make him look embarrassed. But I believe this is what's going on with this debate. Now, if it happens, like I said, great political television. I will watch it, and I hope everyone else will watch it. But it's stalling because he don't want he don't want a political audience. It could also be he don't want to face the voters either. That's. But like I said, I hope it happens. But it's stalling. Just giving you an update on that. All right, with that being said, we're going to have to wrap up this show. That was the last story for the day. I want to thank you, as always, for listening to the Cajun Conservative Show. It's an honor and a privilege for you to spend some time with me every Monday and hopefully on Thursdays, if work don't get in the way. But it's always an honor and a blessing for you to be here with me and spend some time with me. Keep me in prayer. Got a lot of things, a lot of irons in the fire, trying to do some great things. And I'm going through, I guess you could say, a learning curve with everything with this, but thank the Lord that he is there. He has fearfully and wonderfully made me and you. Always praise him, always bless him, and say, Lord, give me favor today. Give me favor. So with that being said, thank you again. Until next time, be blessed and be encouraged. Remember, Jesus Christ is King. He's coming back, and he's coming back soon. So don't be faint of heart, because Jesus has overcome the world. If you want to know Jesus, your Lord and Savior, reach out to me, thecajunconservative5@gmail.com, and I'll tell you how to make Jesus your Savior and heaven your home. Until next time, be blessed, be encouraged. You have a good one.
And he is the open door.